going on? What's going on, everybody? Everybody, today I'll be talking about. Today I'll be talking about. Today I'll be talking about George Carl. About George Carl. Carl and Don Nelson. And Don Nelson and who was a better coach? Who was a better coach out of George Carl? Out of George Carl and Don Nelson. No, no. Before he actually before he actually died in actually turning who was a better coach out of the two the coaches you would have to actually look at the resumes, you know. So so with George Carl with George with George Carl uh, Carl he was the head coach. He was the head coach of he was he was the head coach of the Cleveland Cap. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors, Seattle, Seattle Superstar, the Suns, Milwaukee Bucks, Devin Nuggets, and also the second Kings, you know, and and his overall coaching record is 1,175 wins versus 820 per loss. No, no, no. Don Nelson, Don Nelson, he was the coach of he was the coach of the he was the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors twice uh, New York Knicks. Ugh, New York Knicks, Knicks, and also be a Dallas Mavericks, you know. Then with Don Nelson, with Don Nelson, he has an overall coaching record of 1,335 wins versus 1,063 losses. You know, now, now, I would say that. I would say that. I would actually say that. I would actually say that. Don Nelson. Don Nelson was the better. Don Nelson was the better coach. George Carl. I think George Carl. Carl here simply because of the fact that George Carl, a short, a George Carl, does not have more wins. Does not have more wins than the legendary Don Nelson. Don Nelson does here, and Don Nelson. Don Nelson was also the three-time three-time NBA Coach uh, of the year, and and uh, and also the two-time NBA All-Star Game head coach, along with the top ten NBA head coach in NBA history, and also the top 15 coach in NBA history as well. He you know and and with Don Nelson. He also coached. Better teams, in but then George Karl. But then but then George Karl. Karl did overall. He you know. So yeah. In my opinion, I would actually pick. Don Nelson. Don Nelson over George Karl. Karl here simply because of the fact that Don Nelson coached longer. Don Nelson coached longer than George Karl. I think George Karl did, and also has more wins than George Karl. Than George Karl. Karl did overall. Overall, you know, the name is that's all I. The name is that's all I have. That's all I have to actually say on that. In that current aspect, you know, you know. But anyways, see you soon. See you soon. South, 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 south.